Let me ask you. So Robin to Tom,
Yeah.
who was bigger at that time? Is Tom's
I think Tom's always been
Top Gun? He's already done a bunch of stuff. Days of Thunder, yeah.
Whenever Tom has a movie come out, I'm the first to see it because I'm a true Tom Cruise fan. So when they told me it was Tom Cruise, I got angry. So you gonna put him with me? You know, that's my guy. Watch this. You know what I mean? It's like, it just is what it is.
What was Robin's aura when you met him versus Tom's aura?
No. Robin was all about the jokes. Robin was all about saying the lines and making everything funny. And if it wasn't funny, he'd do 10 minutes of why it wasn't funny, which then it became funny. Like Robin and I did a movie that is again a part of my soul, a film called What Dreams May Come. And
sick movie.
And how I got that role. Here's an interesting story. So here I am. There it is. I just won the Oscar.
Very interesting movie.
I just won the Oscar, let's say, and then it was like February, March, right?
Uh-huh.
Here I am. I got the statue at home, and I go 8 months. I'm going on auditions and meetings, and I like to tell people I just couldn't find work. I couldn't find work. It wasn't true. Steven Spielberg goes, I want you to play Cinque in Amistad. I said, no, I'm show me the money. It's too much of a, like I tell him no. And he says, well, I can make you act like a slave. And I go, well, we should find something else to do. So that opportunity leaves itself. And then almost a year into it, I say to my agent, send me every script out there so I can read it. And I read this beautiful story of this, based on this book of this man whose wife, no, I think his one kid dies, another kid dies, then his wife commits suicide. And he's so sick grieving that he kills himself to go to hell to bring her back, to bring her in heaven, right? And I'm reading the script, and there's only 2 roles in there that are major. There's his son, and then his best friend growing up. And I was like, so I said, give me a meeting with the director. And I met with the director, and the director's like, so why do you think you can play the son? And when he said it, the idea came to me, because I was going to say, can he have grown up with a black best friend? I said, well, Vincent Ward is his name. I said, well, no, Vincent, I came here to read for his. And then I went, well, this is why I'm saying I can play his son, because his best friend's black. So I just assumed that I could get away with that now. But he doesn't recognize his son until he has to recognize his best black friend. And then the black friend reveals himself as being his son. He ate it up. I got the role. Next 8 months, I'm with Robin Williams.
That's insane.
But it took me to get in a room with that director for us for me to finally be on screen again.
Let me ask this question.
Almost a year.
Let me ask this question.
Winning an Oscar.
Why would Cameron have Robin come in to read with you? Robin is nothing like Thomas' personality. Why is he doing that? Or does it not matter who it is?
Yeah, he goes, it's just a favor. You got to remember, think about it. Think about it. It's kind of a naive question. Studio executives, they don't care which big movie stars in the room. They want to see movie stars in the room. So they're listening to this read-through, but they're looking at Robin Williams, and they're looking at Mira Sorvino, and they're looking at who had also had it on. I think she had it on. Maybe not at that time she did. I know she handed, there's another fun fact. She handed me my Oscar when I won. She was the actress. She had won the year before for Mighty Aphrodite. And then she gave
Was that intentional or was it accidental? Like, did they do it intentionally knowing that she's going to give it to you, hand it to you?
No, because you don't know who's going to win. The one who wins last year, the best supporting actress, gives it to the best supporting actor at that time. But my point is, there was Robin, her, and I in that room doing the read-through, but it became, I don't know who played that part, or Renee Zellweger, or I can't remember which one.
Yeah, it was Renee Zellweger.
No, but I'm saying, I don't know if she played the sister in that read-through.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Dorothy Boyd. But,
so now, Tom, so that's Robin. You've never met Tom before. You've never met Tom before.
Before the read-through, unless, you got to remember, all of these are blurring in my head. I did A Few Good Men. Oh, I'll tell you my Few Good Men story. This is so embarrassing. So this is when I first met Tom. I'm cast in A Few Good Men. And I could tell you how I went to that audition. I'll do a quick little thing of it. Rob Reiner, now it's callbacks. And as you know, I'm wearing the same thing as a military guy. And I walk in and I do my screen test and I nail it for the one of the people who do the code red on the kid, the kid. That weekend he watches Boys in the Hood. He comes back after on Monday and my agent says he wants to see you audition again. I come in and audition again and he goes, hey man, so anyway, I saw that movie Boys in the Hood. You know, that's like Stand By Me. We had the dead body and we had the railroad tracks and we had all of this and I'm getting nervous. All right, never mind, just read it again. So of course I read it again and he casts his assistant to be the black guy, so I lose the role. Fast forward to they're filming the movie and all of us black actors had kind of, especially at that time, knew each other. And this T.E. Russell, dear friend of mine, had gotten a one-day role to be on the witness stand, but he can't do it because he's conflicting with a bigger role. So I called Corley and I said, Corley, get me that part. So she calls the casting director and they go, of course, Cuba Gooding Jr., we know who he is, but it's just one-day role. She goes, he doesn't care what the pay is, he just wants to be in the movie. So I go on the set and I sit on that stand and I'm looking at you who's who in a Few Good Men, from Demi Moore to Rob Reiner, Jack, to Tom Cruise, to right. Jack, to the Spacey, not Kevin Spacey, Kevin Bacon, to all of these, right?
Kiefer Sutherland.
All of them. They're all staring at me.
Yeah.
All, and I'm on the line. And this is all I had to say. This is all I had to say. Couldn't say it for 4 hours. 4 hours. They broke to lunch, came back. I still couldn't say this word. Corporal Carl Edward Hammaker, Marine Barracks, Rifle Security Company, Windward, 2nd Platoon, Bravo. I couldn't say it. I will never forget that damn line.
I can relate to.
You can put that on my gravestone. Corporal Carl Edward Hammaker, Marine Barracks, Rifle Security Company, Windward, 2nd Platoon, Bravo. But I couldn't say it. I just couldn't say it. I couldn't say it. And even the worst thing, Tom Cruise, they go, okay, we're breaking for lunch. And he goes, it's okay, man. It's okay.
Oh, so Tom is not putting more pressure. Tom is kind of like, you got this. It's going to be all right.
Again, every time I look around the room and I make eye contact with people, they're looking at me like, you stupid.
Who's giving the look? Who's like running out of patience? Anybody?
Who's the little short one with the hair? Kevin Pollak? Is it Kevin Pollak? He's looking at me like, He's looking at me like, better you than me, motherfucker. Better you than me. But I'm just still just like, and I'm trying to, and I got my little curt little mustache and I got my hair all clipped. And Wolfgang Bodison is the one who actually got the main role. But there I am. And even my lips look swollen in there. I'm so upset. I'm so upset. I am literally so upset because I can't say these words. So now, can you imagine, fast forward? What year was that? What year did it say?
Few Good Men.
It says 92. Yeah. So fast forward 3-4 years later, Tom Cruise hears about this Cuba Gooding Jr. kid. Boys in the Hood, thinking, probably laughs at himself. I saw him on the stand. He's ass. And not the good kind. He's horrible. So I walk in as Rod Tidwell now. And we do the read-through. And like I keep saying, the rest is history.
By the way, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
How many movies can you and I say where this guy absolutely crushed it? He's been nominated 4 times, right? Born on 4th of July, Jerry Maguire.
I was going to say Born
the Maverick, and there's one other
Rain Man. I mean, everything that he's done. People got to understand.
How has he never won an Oscar?
Well, you got to understand, you need a sounding board. If you had 2 idiots talking to each other, it just looks like Beavis and Butthead. But if you got one straight man and an idiot, people can laugh at the idiot, because especially if an intelligent, somebody who's together, you need somebody to bounce off of it. And he's been that guy. I mean, think about it. The closest he's ever got to winning an Academy Award was Tropic Thunder. But it wasn't the Tom Cruise we know. He went into this, the fat bastard, whatever character.
We don't negotiate with terrorists.
Yeah. You remember?
And by the way, when that came out, everybody's like, who is that guy at the end? Everybody was Googling.
Yeah, they didn't know it was
because they didn't know who that guy was.
That's right.
And like, is this who I think it is? And like, wait a minute, it is. And by the way, do you know the story of he approached and he says, I'm taking hip hop dancing classes. And he pitched this to Ben. Did you know the story that he went to Ben, pitched it saying, for the last 30 days, I've been taking hip hop classes. I'm going to play this part. It's my part. Trust me. And Ben is
Wow.
like, what are you talking about? He went and pitched it to him. He's like,
Yeah.
holy shit, Tom. What did you do with this?
Look.
Okay. So
And look at how he came in. He probably came dressed exactly like that when Ben saw him.
But by the way, how come he hasn't won? How come he hasn't won?
I think it's just that. I think they want to see him disappear. I mean, you think about Leonardo DiCaprio. We almost could say, why didn't Leonardo DiCaprio
He just
win?
won, right?
But I mean, you saw that role?
Yeah.
I mean, they had to give it to him for that. I mean, I don't like the cold. I wish I could play ice hockey in a warm arena. I wish it wasn't on ice, but it's to see him cold and stick his body in that horse and fight the bear and all that stuff. I mean, he deserved it. He deserved it. But when you think of leading man and you think of the Jack Nicholsons and the Daniel Day-Lewises of the world, you can't deny them because they keep flipping the script. You know, it's like people question. I was going to say Muhammad Ali because I'm looking at the boxing gloves. Michael Jackson. You think of Michael Jackson? Oh, you're Jackson 5. No, okay. Oh wow, off the wall. Yeah, but you can't. Oh, I'm bad. Yeah, okay. Well, now it's really over. Every 5 years,
waiting for a fall.
You're waiting, and then all of a sudden, it's this new butterfly. It's this new thing. Well, that's what we do with every role. And when you see a real leading man, you don't expect him to go to somewhere else.
Do you think he gives a shit if he ever wins again or not?
100%. Everybody gives a shit. And when people say they don't give a shit, I'll tell you the one reason why I probably won't do the whole award circuit thing ever again has nothing to do with my talent or me wanting the accolades from my peers. But I had 2 films come out, and I bought the hype from my publicist. This is why I still don't have a personal publicist for going on 2 decades now. But they convinced me to do all of the Tonight Show circuits and all the press for Fighting Temptations. And it came out, let's say, in September. Then literally the next month, interviewers were like, well, here he is again. Oh, I get it, for the Oscar campaign for radio. Because they came out literally within 2 months of each other, those 2 movies. And the backlash I started to get from the role of radio was, oh, he's just trying to win another Oscar. And they were right. They had me on every other Oscar thing doing that. I did look at that and I went, they're right. That's gross. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. Let the work speak for itself. It's so funny to segue to bad press, but it's funny about these years of this last few, the darkness of my career, my dad passing away, and then the accusations and all of these things in the press, and reading these headlines that are just simply not true. The P. Diddy thing, just simply not true. It's ridiculous. But if I allow those things to identify who I am, and I say, well, that's what it says, and I'm explaining myself to you, then I lose. I have to be who I am, no matter what the headline is, no matter what the narrative is in the media. And at the end of the day, you could just hope that people can still go and see your role and say, there he is. That's the character. That's Rod Tidwell. That's James Robert Radio Kennedy. That's Carl Brashear. That's Dory Miller. That's that Tuskegee Airman who died for me and gave me the freedoms. That's the character that I want to follow, high or low. And even the dark ones, that's the Nicky Barnes. That's O.J. Simpson. The biggest compliment I ever got, even though it took me a while to look at a white Bronco without crying. It's just because it's, these are, when you're doing an emotional scene, you're grieving, you like I break out in hives. Your body doesn't know that you're really grieving. Your body thinks you're going through it. So you never kind of let that go. People would come up to me after that show aired, the first 10 episodes. They said, it's so funny. I saw a picture of OJ and I forgot what he looked like. I just had it in my mind that it was what you look like in that show. That's what we want. That's what brought me back to North Hollywood High School in the morning playing Little Abner and in the evening playing 12th Night, Festy. Those characters and those kids cheering 2 different people.
What role changed you? Was there any role like where like, Austin Butler plays Elvis Presley
Elvis, yeah.
afterwards. You're like, he can't stop talking like that. Like, he can't get rid of that, right? Or
Yeah.
right now, my kids, we're going through Godfather. My oldest son is all about movies. I'm going to New York for him to go through a 1-week camp, and I'm going to take him there
Great.
to go. He's 12 years old. He's all
Yeah.
about movies. He's obsessed with movies. And we're watching Godfather, and he changed the thumbnail to his iPad now to Godfather, and you're seeing Pacino, where he goes from the role, his wife, the wife in Italy blows up, and he's coming back, and he sees that his dad's dying, flies back in. Sonny's about to get killed. Sonny doesn't have the temperament to be a boss. His younger brother, Fredo, is not older brother, Fredo, was making too many mistakes. He's too controlled, being bullied by the guy in Vegas, the owner that runs the casino, and then he realizes, this is my job, right? And you wonder, a job like that, a role like that, you go in it, right?
You go deep.
Do you leave it like Daniel Day-Lewis, Last of the Mohicans? I'm going to go out there and live in the wilderness for 6 months to really understand what this is really all about, because he really goes into it, right? And, 3 Academy Awards, Lincoln, all these different things that he's done. What role did you go so deep into where you're like, dude, this permanently changed a part of me?
Well, probably OJ. I mean, I still haven't seen it. Like, it's funny because even when I was going on the tour, because I made a deal with Ryan Murphy. I said, I don't want to make a political statement based on what you think he did or didn't do. So let's just do a thing. Let's do a take where I do it where he's guilty, and let's do a take where he truly believes he's innocent. And then you decide, and you use the takes you want. And that's how we shot that character. But again, it's dark, man. I had just gotten separated from my wife. I was living by myself. I couldn't, the sun would drop and I'd look out my windows and I'd go, and we now know it's depression. I would have to go to a bar, to a restaurant around people and just sit and talk to people. And we'd tell stories and all that stuff. But I couldn't be by myself, because it's almost like I could, and looking at all the footage and all the court stuff and then the autopsy photos and all that stuff. I mean, it really imprints scars on your soul. So many of them did that. Outbreak did that. I'll never forget Carrie Fisher. So here's a funny story about Outbreak. When we started Outbreak, Arnold Kopelson, who's the producer, big mega producer, he was in competition with Robert Redford and Jodie Foster because they had a Ebola virus, big studio picture. So he, brilliant producer he was, flew the cast to Northern California, and we started shooting trees. We didn't have a script. We just started shooting. And because we were shooting, they abandoned the end zone or whatever it was called, the hot zone or whatever. And so now he stopped for 3 weeks, wrote the script, and then we shot it. And so you can imagine the script was never where it needed to be. But Dustin Hoffman had a real close relationship with Carrie Fisher. So Carrie Fisher flew out to Ferndale, California, Northern California. And she sat with Dustin Hoffman in his trailer, rewriting the script and showing him video footage. And I'll never forget, Dustin runs into my trailer and goes, you got to see this. You got to see this. And I literally looked at a black and white video of a soldier, because the soldiers at the time kept dying from some weird brain disease when they went in the jungle. And they had this young soldier. He was healthy, but he had this early signs. So they said, you're going to die. They told the soldier, you got about 8-10 days. We want to record it so we can figure it out. And so I literally watched this soldier deteriorate, this young blonde, blue-eyed kid. I'm assuming he's blonde and blue-eyed, but that's what he looked like in the black and white footage, in this room, and slowly dry heaving. And literally it went time lapse for 10 days until he deteriorated and died. And because of that, they figured out that when they lay in the brush, even if they put it on their arms or whatever, the lice from the mice would go in their ear and eat their brain, and that's how they died. So then, because of that video, they have their helmets, and they sleep on their hard hat helmets that keep them off the grass. So he saved people's lives. But that's another thing that I can never unring that bell. That's a part of my psyche now.
So when are you shooting OJ? Because if you're saying personal life, 2014, 2017 is I think if I read it correctly, you're going through the divorce or got finalized.
My
14 you're separating.
away,
Your father passed away. And when are you shooting this? When are you shooting OJ?
Well, so OG came out in 2016, right? So I got separated in 2013. So I'd been on my separation journey 13, 14, 15, 16, right? And then we got, we were the belle of the ball, every Emmy, every time. At one point, there was OJ's documentary that won the Academy Award. So people were going, congratulations on your Oscar. I was like, I'll take it. There wasn't an award we didn't win with that. And then my dad dies. So now here I am. Now I can tell myself I did the right thing. Right, I fought the good fight to play a dark character, and then now I'm back in the darkness all over again. And then at some point, there's the pandemic, and there's all of these things that was like, when it rains, it pours. When one thing is after the other, and I believe that changes you. It changes a man.
By the way, were you close to your pops? Were you guys close?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's my dad.
Like
we fought
friends.
like cats and dogs. He used to tell people I had to name first. Right? Cuba Gooding Jr., Cuba Gooding Sr. I don't know how to put senior. I'm Cuba Gooding. I have to name first. All right, Dad. Oh.
Would you even like it right now when you're in the car and radio or you're somewhere the song plays? Do you go anywhere?
Oh man. I mean, I'm not gonna get emotional, but there's this song that he sings. Don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing, mama, 'cause I'll be standing on the side when you check it out. And when I hear that song, I put the song in my playlist. And it every once in a while, I'm going through something dark, and the song comes on the radio. And I go, thanks, Dad. I'm telling you. Any bad thing, bad press thing happens or something, I read it, and all of a sudden I'm in my car driving, and that song, boom, dum, 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 and I go, thanks, Dad. There he is. I'm telling you, I connected with him in death more than I did in life, and now, and it's so funny, 'cause I'll be standing on the side when you're checking out. Well, when I die, no, but I think it's 'cause whenever anything's there, he's there. He's standing there. He's standing there. He's standing there. Yeah, I believe that, man. Yeah.
Would you be interested in collecting 5-figure paychecks for a few hours of work, helping me in your spare time from home?
There's a song that I listen to, Papa. And if I listen to this song, Papa, I think it's by Paul Anka. If I listen to the lyrics, man, I'm gone.
Yeah.
And I can play this.
But okay, but my dad's voice.
I know.
Do you understand?
I know. That's what I'm saying. So this is a song
I hear his voice singing that song.
Do you try to
saying,
hearing
don't
the song,
you worry about the thing. No, I just know when I'm going to go do something. Like I had a big interview, a big 2-hour interview last week, and I got in the car, turned it on. Bing, I was like, oh, there he is. There you go.
Does it take you to a happy place?
Yes. Yeah. Every time. Yeah.
Was he your call? Like when you're going through tough times and you need somebody to just kind of lift you up, was he your call?
No, you don't listen. You interview. You don't pay attention. I told you when he died is when I got close to him.
Got it.
And my dad was old school. Remember, from the Harlem. Grew up that way. He grew up a street guy. Everywhere he laid his hat was his home type guy. So everything was a hustle with him. And then when he passed away, the community, especially in New York City, they came and said, "We got you now." And so now I got that community as my support system.
Let me ask you. For me, I wrote a book called "Choose Your Enemies Wisely."
Yeah.
And I'm talking to Brady, and one of the things I said to him, I said, anybody that I see that somehow, some way makes it to a high level that is able to tolerate the kind of pain you need to get to that level has 3 things in common. They have experienced unconditional love from one person. You need one person to give you unconditional love, right? The other thing is you need somebody that no matter how much you ever do, you will never win them over.
That's right.
That person, no matter how many Oscars you win, no matter how much money you make, no matter how, sports, accolades, everything. And you need to choose your enemies wisely, because the right enemies will drive you, the wrong ones will destroy you.
That's right.
Those three.
The Iagos will destroy you.
Right. Was your father the one that, was it an element while he was alive?
100%.
Nothing was ever enough? Was it kind of like a...
Okay, so I'll tell you a quick story. So I was, which will bring us to the firing squad, which is funny enough. My dad would say to me all the time, "You're not a singer. You can't sing. You're not a singer. You can't sing." Right? So even happy birthday was hard for me. Happy birthday. Because I was always insecure about my voice. So he passes away, right? And my reps call me and they say, "Okay, so we got an offer. So have you heard of the musical Chicago?" I said, "Of course." He says, "So they've offered you to reinstate it." This is right before the pandemic, the year before the pandemic. So 17, 18. They're going to do it on the West End stage in London.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, "But I can't sing." And my agent, of course, remember this agent, "Oh, don't worry about it. You don't sing. You what do you say? You talk the words. Is everybody here? Is everybody here?" It's like that thing. So I go, "Well, if they'll give me a vocal coach for at least 3 months, then I'll do it." So in walks Eric Vitro into my life. And 3 months becomes 6 months, 6 months becomes 9 months. And then I go on a plane to London. And I step on that West End stage after 3 additional months, so probably a total of a year. And I wind up doing 8 shows a week, 6 days a week for 5 months playing Billy Flynn. And I'm telling you, I don't know who that was. It had to be my father. I flew back to the States. I do it for another 6 months on Broadway. And another 6 months on Broadway playing Billy Flynn in Chicago. And before all of this, Tim Shea, writer, producer, director of Firing Squad, offered me a movie called Freedom, which I did in the mid-2000s. And it's a slave picture. And he says at the end of the movie, the last scene, because they do the director, I think it was Vincent Ward directed, I can't remember. No, not Vincent Ward. He did What Dreams May Come. But he says, "You're finally going to find redemption. You're by this, all this, the people, you've finally made it to the North, and you got all these slaves, and you got handlers, and I just want you to sing Amazing Grace." I go, "Excuse me?" Now remember, this was years before Chicago or anything. He goes, "I just want you to sing Amazing Grace." I go, "What do I say?" "I don't know the words." And he goes, "Don't worry, we're going to have the words on cue cards." And sure enough, I come out of the trailer, I come into this river bank with all of these extras, 200 people, slaves, horses, and everything, and big cue cards. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. I was lost and now I'm found. And Amazing Grace. And it's almost like a moment it reminded me of A Few Good Men. Like, here I am back on this thing. I can see the actors look at me going, "This boy ain't supposed to be doing this." We finished that day of filming. I go into the sound editing room. The director has me in there. He's got a vocal thing. They're trying to get me to sing it. They're doing all the tricks with the whatever. The movie comes and goes. Fast forward to last year. Tim Shea calls me and says, "I got this script. It's a true story about 3 Americans who are overseas. They got mixed up in drugs and they're put to death via firing squad. I want you to play one of the prisoners." I said, "Well, all right, Tim, send me a script. Let me read it." And I read it and I break down. I'm crying because the way these guys did it is they sing Amazing Grace with guns in their face. "But this time I can sing, baby."
When you were performing, was it kind of like a level of safety to know the insecurity was gone because he's not here? Or was it more like, "I'm going to show you that I can sing"? What was it like for you to know now, performing without him saying, "You can't sing, stop singing, you don't have a voice, stop singing"?
I always have a laugh that's always boisterous. I always sing along loud, or if I need to get attention, I laugh. And so when I finally, what I say to people, let go, let God. I didn't have any more tension in my diaphragm.
Yeah.
So when that note hit in the Broadway play, Eric would just keep saying, I need you to relax. You got to let it go. Both reach for the gun. Stop. And I literally, and at one point, it finally, it was one of those things where my body was like, relax. And I think that was my dad. Both reach for the and on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And we both, and he looked at me on the thing, and I'm sorry I blew your ears. I apologize. I hope you knew that was coming. But he on the piano, and he goes, there's your voice.